Ah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to Ticks. I know I ain't been around. uh, I guess I should explain it. I got real pissed off. Hold on, sorry, I didn't go my comments. What's up, Carlton? I got real. What's up, Audrey? I got real pissed off with that whole Trump Epstein situation. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I got real pissed off because yeah, it's good to be back. Although I got some changes coming up. I got some new things in the work. I'm seriously thinking about bringing back the Embrace Villainy channel. But anyway, let's stop delaying. So that whole Epstein situation was the last straw for me, in a sense, to where you know how you have a desk clearing moment, like I was pretty much in that type of mentality. I didn't do it, but I was done. I was totally pissed off. So during my time off, I had to reflect on exactly what was going on. I had to sit back and watch the whole picture. And those of you who are associated with me through my social media apparatuses, you know that I've been giving the DOJ a lot of flack because you see, you have Democratic leaders who are out here literally breaking the law, and the DOJ is doing nothing. And I'm talking about Pam Bondi getting on TV, talking stern and finger wagging, but nothing is happening. You have everybody's under investigation. The file is on my desk. You got Kristi Noem down in Memphis, Tennessee, or is it Memphis? Yeah, she's down there in Tennessee, browbeating the mayor for doxing ICE agents, which is a crime. Which is a crime, by the way. Doxing is a crime. You've got the people, well, I'll get to it. You have people out in California like Cynthia Gonzalez. She's calling on gang members to assault ICE agents. And of course, ICE agents are getting assaulted. You saw the two situations out in Texas. You see the situation that's been going on the past 3 months out in Portland. Just the other day, they assaulted a female journalist who's like a lunch lady built type of woman. They physically beat her up just for recording what they're doing. All right. These guys, the ICE agents, they arrest the people out in Portland whenever they cross the line. And the Portland police, well, not the police, because it's not really them, but the judicial system lets them back out on the streets within 12 hours. So now they're back out there causing chaos in the neighborhood. And I'm going to tell you right now, if those of y'all who saw that video with that black woman with the cane, the older black woman who was out there telling them to go away, like the people need sleep, and they was cursing at her, telling her to go F herself and everything. Like if that was like my mother or my aunt or my sister or my wife. Anyway, so Tom Homan, I got tired of him always running his mouth. But then I thought about it. I mean, because not to mention, I mean, not just on the ICE tip, but also you've got the theft that was going on with USAID. You've got the theft that was going on with Act Blue. You got all this criminal activity. What's up, AB? Yeah, exactly. You know, they talking to her all crazy, like, because they don't care. They're getting paid to be out there. Antifa is getting paid to be out there. And I'm like, what happened to all of this shutting down their money? Act Blue, you shut down Act Blue because the second you announced that they were under investigation, they scattered like rats. They scattered like rats. All of their CEOs and everything, Everybody bounced up out of there. The officers were deserted because they didn't want to go to jail. They want to call in Alex and George Soros to testify. You've got the situation with Tim Walz, where the guy was up there who shot and killed this one Democratic leader and her husband, but before then he shot two other Democratic leaders, well, the Democratic leader and his spouse, but they survived. And then, of course, the guy, he sent a letter before the shootings to Kash Patel implicating Tim Walz with a hit list. And they haven't even had a conversation with Tim Walz, not since the whole congressional hearing with him, Pritzker, Hochul, and who was the other one? It was another mayor that, not a mayor, a governor that they sat and talked to that was over a quote unquote sanctuary city. And come to find out, Walz is taking money from the CCP. Karen Bass is taking money from the CCP. All right. What's going on with the Letitia James situation? You got her dead to rights on 2, 3, 4 separate crimes. Nothing. Hasn't even been called in to do a deposition or anything. So I'm watching all of this stuff stack up. And then with that whole Epstein, we're still talking about this creep. Man, woo! Woo! Camel, straw, Camel's back. So I had to take a break. But after hearing what came down today, all right, what came down the pike, I sat back and I lamented on something. There were two things that were said that I felt that I needed to dig deeper on. Number one was when Tom Homan said, wait till you see what's coming. He said this about 2 months ago. They were like, what are you going to do? The ICE agents, you don't have enough, blase, blase. It was like, wait till you see what's coming. Wait till you see what's coming. And then there was where I was saying that not only do you have to deal with Kash Patel, he has to rebuild the FBI with people that he can trust through the lie detector test. But also the reason why the Democrats were fighting so hard for, I mean, not just fighting for the quote unquote, I didn't physically assault anybody, criminal illegals. I came across the border. I wound up getting a job, working the slave wage, $7 an hour for something that normally somebody should be getting paid 15 to 20 for. All right. I'm getting used and abused. Sometimes I don't even get paid because who am I going to complain to? You know, the new slaves, the new Democrat slaves, the new slaves. Let's just be honest. That's what they are. They're the new slaves. I could see if you're fighting for those people, but the violent sexual assaulters, especially of children, the murderers, the drug dealers, the gang members, I was saying that the only reason why you as a Democrat would fight for them is if you are taking money from the cartel to keep their members in the country. Why in the hell else would you make several trips down to South America to go see, you know, what's that guy's name? Garcia? Abrego Garcia. You say, are all business owners Democrats? No, most business owners are Republicans. And I'm going to get into that. So I'm like, the only reason why you would be doing this is if you're taking cartel money. So, hey, I need you to go down there and get Abrego Garcia out of prison. That's my number one human trafficker. You need to go get him out of prison, or else maybe something happens to your sister or your daughter or your grandchild. Who knows? I mean, accidents happen every day. Just like the guy that got the ICE agent that got shot in New York. There was no way in hell that was just some random robbery. These people are out on the rocks at night. You could barely see them. You're out here doxing ICE agents, and then suddenly in the middle of the night, some guy roll up on you. I believe it was a hit made to look like a robbery. It didn't go down that way. But why are you fighting to keep these people in the country? Why is it that, come to find out, they've been arrested and re-released and re-released and re-released? Remember when they first jumped off with the group of illegals that attacked the cops in New York back in 2023? And they were out in less than 24 hours, and the dude was throwing up the middle finger. That was the signal then. That was the signal. And everybody knows you don't play with New York cops. There are 4 places where with the police, you don't F around. New York, Florida, Texas, and California. Yeah, I get it. But that was just too I mean, there's no concrete evidence, but to me it looked like a hit. Made to look like a robbery. But I could be wrong. I mean, we don't really know. But who's to say? I mean, the chance encounter for that to go down the way it did is just like 0.001%. You say New York cops only have smoke for blacks? Oh no. Ask the Latinos. Ask the Latinos, the South Americans. Ask them how New York cops treat them. All right. And poor whites. Trust me, everybody can get it. From wherever, those 4 states I mentioned, everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. I've watched enough body cam footage over the past, couple of years. Everybody can get it. They do not play games. At any rate, when I was talking about why the Democrats were fighting to keep the criminal illegals in the country, I had said a couple of months ago, you say you born and raised in New York? She's saying they give the Latinos a foot rub and a back massage and a cheese sandwich in the juice box and let them go. I'm just messing with you. But these are new immigrants, folks, now in New York City. Yeah, I know. Hold on. Get me distracted. What I was saying was, the only reason why they're protecting these criminal illegals is not only do they work for not only do the Democratic leaders work for the cartel, but also they know that this is their army. If they ever decide to flip the switch, especially by cartel orders, order 66, then they're going to do what they do. They're going to follow orders. So Trump, in all honesty, when he initiated the Alien Enemies Act, that's pretty much what he was trying to defend the country from. And they didn't have enough agents. There's not enough agents right now for what they're doing. That whole situation, if the National Guard wouldn't have been out on those streets, they would have overran that federal facility. And do understand, one of the biggest things that kicked off the Civil War was Dixiecrats. They assaulted federal agents, federal troops, Union soldiers. They assaulted them. And then boom, 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 boom. And then it escalated to where the South lost. The Dixiecrats lost. Well, the Dixiecrats that we now call the Democrats are trying to do the same thing all over again. But you would have to be stupid to be a black person and to fight on the side of your former slave masters, your former town burners, You know, these weren't Republicans that burned down Rosewood or Tulsa, re ran the people out of Central Park. What's the place out in was it North Carolina, Greenville? These weren't Republicans, these were Democrats. Hateful, spiteful, racist, piss poor trailer park Democrats. The Klan, Democrats. Militias, Democrats. Luckily, the Republicans, seeing what they were doing, formed their own militias, started buying guns in bunches. Remember how we used to talk about white supremacists buying guns like crazy, especially when Obama became president? Who the hell? Yeah, Seneca Village, New York City. Yeah. Who the hell do you think was buying guns like crazy when Obama was elected president? White, racist Democrats. The Republicans already had theirs for a tyrannical government. The KKK buys guns for you. You're their target. Hispanics are their targets. Jewish people are their targets. Anybody that's not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant American is the target. That is exactly how the Democrats see it. That's why they tried to replace you with Hispanics as new slaves. They want a civil war. They're trying to push a civil war. And to be, in all honesty, it looks like to me that the Republicans they're for it. From Trump down, they're for it. They want to bring it. Why do you think they're not doing anything to all of these Democratic leaders? That's one idea. Or maybe your boy Trump is playing it smart. Like, you know what? In order for me to do the mass deportation effort that needs to happen, what I'm going to have to do, and y'all tell me how my sound is. I'm not sure. I'm still fiddling with this mic. I'll need more people. This is why Elon Musk was tripping about the big, beautiful bill adding $2 trillion to the budget, because that $2 trillion that's added to the budget is for defense. It's not just the Iron Dome or the Golden Dome that the United States is going to have, which is kind of stupid that Israel has that technology, but we don't. You really left yourself that defenseless? Okay, thank you, Audrey. You really think you're going to leave yourself that defenseless just because you got two oceans? And Zelensky said it when he was in the White House. You think that you can't be touched because you're surrounded by the waters, but you can get touched from within, because everybody knows that through the open border, especially the open southern border, what you let in, which was a serious violent criminal element backed up by a totalitarian regime that wants to issue in communism. That's why you hear that democratic socialist. That's just a stupid way of saying communist. No such thing as a democratic socialist, but we'll get back to what I'm talking about here. So you need that money. You need the money in order to put apparently what's going to be U.S. troops on U.S. streets. You need that money. Luckily, all the tariffs are being set, so that way you've got trillions of dollars coming into the country. It's not like whoever we owe the money to is going to want their $36 trillion come January 1st. You pay it down on installments. All right, you bring down the national debt, but at the same time, you're adding $2 trillion to it. You're just adding $2 trillion to it, but you'll have it paid off in less than, we're looking at less than 2 to 5 years. if things continue to go the rate that they're going, the U.S. debt will be paid off within 2 to 5 years, and then you'll be looking at some serious economic prosperity. So he's not worried about the $2 trillion being added to the debt. Elon's biggest freak out was that he lost his EV contract because that was billions of dollars. He needed that for his robotics program and trying to fly a rocket ship to Mars. Like, bruh, you better take out a loan. You know what I'm saying? You better go to E.F. Hutton or somebody. Like, your money here is done. We're cutting you off. We're cutting you off. But at any rate, and him forming a new political party, me, like Mosh, homeboy Mosh kept saying that, well, we need at least a 2-party system. Like, yeah, but the way it's going, it doesn't look like the Democrats are going to survive to 2028. They'll be lucky to survive 2026 at the rate that they're going. So Elon forming a new political party, you say I missed the Elon fights. I mean, it was silly stuff, but maybe Elon may be on to something. Though it's weird that you have a South African being involved in American politics like that. But I mean, really, basically what he's going to do is just fund candidates that are, I guess, American first, because let's be honest, he loves America way more than he loves South Africa. You know, South Africa wouldn't even let him open up a plant there. Like they're that racist, you know, but it's whatever. But let's get to it. Let's get to the article. All right, let's get to the article. All right, so new Hegseth leak reveals secret plan for years of troops on U.S. streets. So the Department of Homeland Security is looking to boost its deployment of the military on the streets of the U.S. in order to help carry out Donald Trump's immigration policies, according to a leaked memo written by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's brother. Like, man, like, bruh, Pete. Loose lips, my brother, loose lips. He gotta fire you. I'm sorry, man. He gotta fire you. He got to fire. This is just starting to get too much. This is starting to get too much. You got to go. The document obtained by the New Republic details plans for how the Trump administration could use the military to assist with domestic law enforcement as part of its mass deportation agenda for years to come. The letter from Hegseth, Phil Hegseth, the younger brother of the defense secretary, pushed for the move despite admitting the deployment of thousands of National Guard troops and U.S. Marines to Los Angeles amid the anti-ICE protests was not perfect. Well, of course not, because they had to hurry up and rush them out there. Its leak is the latest to beguile the leak-prone Pentagon, where a paranoid Hegseth has been making aides and even generals take polygraphs to work out who is revealing his secrets. And the messed up part about it is, in that interview, before Trump took office, I think it was back in December, there was an interview with this nerdy guy with glasses. He was saying how they were stealing money. They were literally dumping gold bars off the Titanic, and they had people in place to try to sabotage Trump's presidency. Because do understand, the Democrats have been trying to usher in communism since the Obama administration. But Trump, and this is why you had the whole Russiagate, which of course we found out was false, and Obama and Hillary, I mean, of course they did it. They're scumbags. Any rate, you had the whole Russiagate hoax because they were trying to not have him be president. Hillary was, I mean, this is why Hillary stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders, not once, but twice. But she stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders, but she couldn't beat Trump. He was just too honest. When she sat up there and talked about he don't pay his taxes, and he was right, you're right, I don't pay my taxes. You know why? Because, because of her. I understand the tax system better than anybody. I know all the loopholes because of her. Her friends, they don't pay to her, and her friends don't pay taxes either. Like, why didn't she close the loopholes if it was such a big deal about me not paying my taxes when all of her other people don't pay taxes either? Like, that was one of the realest, and that's really why Trump got elected the first time and really the second time, because at least you had somebody that people felt like was telling the truth to them. It's been a very transparent presidency outside of the Epstein stuff. But outside of that, it seems like we know every move. And of course, here's a move that we shouldn't even know about. But the guy was saying they had people in the Pentagon and they had judges that were going to try to thwart Trump's plan. I mean, they had already tried to assassinate him twice, really 3 times, but once for sure. And they failed in their missions. So they figure now if they just win elections, then that way they can usher in communism at the local level. That's why you've got Mamdani in New York and that Somalian dude in Minnesota. These are Sharia law people. These people are scumbags. Elon didn't want to give South Africa 30% share of the company. I don't blame him. We agree on something. Hillary did steal the presidential nominee from Bernie Sanders. Of course she did. We sat up there and watched her do it. Like, Bernie was smoking her in every single, I mean, he was killing her in the debates. Next thing you know, she got the nomination. I'm like, why? At any rate, Carrie Lee, senior fellow at the German Marshall Fund, told the New Republic the contents of the memo are disturbing and outline intent to use the military within the United States at a level not seen since Japanese internment. The military is the most powerful, coercive tool our country has. We don't want the military doing law enforcement, Lee said. It absolutely undermines the rule of law. Actually, it doesn't. Because as far as Trump and all of the other Republicans and Democrats who have any type of sense or dignity left in their head, they understand that the last 4 years has been nothing short of an invasion. Millions of people, unvetted, undocumented people, are in this country. They have to go. They have to go. Taking it back, speaking of which, Ilhan Omar and that Somalian dude, look, and even Mamdani, my thing is this. If you're fresh off the boat and we give you your papers, there's no way in hell you should be allowed to run for public office. Like, you should be, your family, maybe your grandchild can run for public office because they've been indoctrinated into American culture. Like, you know, you come here, you're fresh off the boat, you are a Sharia law psychopath. You know, where raping women is legal. It's part of your culture. Just ask the people in the UK. Anyway, no. Your kids, let your kids, you've been here 30 years, your kids been here 25 years. They grow up in American culture. Sure, you still eat the little traditional foods and have the little traditional parties, but the violence and craziness of Sharia law, they don't really see that because you're in America now. That's illegal. And then they wind up having kids, and all of those little ideologies of Sharia law, all that stuff just kind of fades away because they're no longer savages. They're raised up in a first world country where they don't starve, especially with what's going on now with the new the big beautiful bill. You're no longer starving. Okay, you're getting a proper education. You're not exposed to a lot of violence up close and personal, unless, you know, that's your parents living together or something like that. But you're not really exposed to that. So it's kind of detestable and reprehensible to you unless you're a psychopath. You want to run for public office now? Yeah, go ahead. You've been Americanized enough to know how we operate here and what's acceptable and what's not. But fresh off the boat? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No, 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 no. And no, you're not allowed to own property fresh off the boat. You can rent, but you're not allowed to own. And you have to provide whatever business you start here has to produce. What's going on in Minnesota, where they bought up the block up there, where there were a lot of bars and nightclubs and everything. They wound up buying those places out, and now they're just sitting empty. They're now ghost towns. They're forcing the people out, and the places are just sitting stagnant. What the hell? No, you didn't buy this for it to collect dust. This is a tax deficit. You bought these to bring in a business. If you're not bringing in a business, if you're not bought this property and you're not turning a profit within 6 months to a year, then you forfeit that property. As an immigrant, you forfeit that property. At any rate. But no, they see these people as an invading force. They see them as an invading force, and you're not supposed to be here. So here, I gave you the chance with the app, $1,000 and a flight home to get the hell up out of here. Take it or leave it. But I'm telling you right now, if you leave it, it's gonna be really worse for you. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. Your best bet is to leave now. We're already cutting off your social security numbers. All right, we're already cutting that off. We're cutting you off from welfare. All right, no more Medicaid, no more social services, no more SNAP, no more food stamp, none of that. You're done. You're done. Get the hell out. Please don't make us force you out, because we will force you out through the National Guard and the U.S. military. And the Democrats don't have the power to stop us. A federal judge can sit up there and call them. This is why they already blocked federal judges from making a determination across the nation for, like, you're out in Idaho. You don't get to run the country from the bench. That's what SCOTUS is for, not you. You say you got your money on Mayor Adams. Yeah, Mayor Adams, he's re-entered the race. He shouldn't have never decided not to do it. He should have stayed, but it is what it is. You say that means Trump's father would not have been able to buy property. Hey, too late now, but yeah, that would have been perfect. I understand they're from Germany. It is what it is. You can rent, but you're not buying unless you can turn a profit. Unless you turn a profit within 6 months to a year, then you forfeit the property. Anyway, Phil Hegseth, who works inside the Pentagon as a liaison to the Department of Homeland Security and as a senior advisor to the Defense Secretary, previously made headline news after it was alleged his brother discussed the Trump administration's plans to attack Yemen with him on the messaging app during the Signalgate controversy. He is now alleged to have written a memo that outlines a July 21st meeting between senior DHS and Pentagon officials discussing how the departments could coordinate in defense of the homeland. Yeah, you got to fire your brother. I mean, come on. You got to fire your brother. One time's an accident, second time's a trend, third time's a problem. You got to fire your brother, bro. Your brother is pillow talking. Your brother is pillow talking. Whatever little sex worker he's laying up with, or his wife, I mean, come on. Somebody's pillow talking. Anyway, I mean, I'm being funny, but somebody around his brother is talking. That includes convincing leading military officials such as General Dan Kane, Raising Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, of the urgency of the so-called Homeland Defense mission. Yeah, this is where that $2 trillion is going. Well, some of it. The memo also suggests this ramping up of military deployment is needed as foreign gangs and drug cartels that Trump has listed as terrorist organizations pose a similar threat to Al Qaeda or ISIS cells and fighters operating freely inside of America. Elsewhere, the memo suggests that the deployment of troops to LA, which allegedly saw them sleeping on floors, not being provided food or water, that's a lie, and complaining of having nothing to do once the protests calmed down, did not go as planned. First and foremost, they had food and water. And if you are a combat veteran, are you kidding me? You sleeping on the floor inside of an air-conditioned building in California in the summer? What would you rather sleep? Outside in the desert? Using one of those giant sand spiders as a pillow? Camel pee to cool you off? Or be inside of some air-conditioned military building in LA, just standing there having some goofy noodle arm liberal twink yelling and screaming at you, and you get the popping with a rubber bullet gun for fun. Except nepotism. What's up, No News? Stop it. I'd rather be sleeping on the floor in an air conditioning building than cuddling up next to a cactus and getting shot at. Everyone here is also aware of our joint work in LA. It hasn't been perfect, and we're still working through best practices together, but I think it's a good indicator of the type of operations and resistance we're going to be working through for years to come, the memo said. Yeah, No News. If you do the replay gang in the early part, first 6 minutes, I explained where I've been. It's not serious. Joseph Nunn, Council for the Liberty and National Security Program at the Brennan Center, told the New Republic that the memo suggests military involvement in domestic civilian law enforcement on the streets of the U.S. is about to become more common. And see, this is what happens when you don't let law enforcement work with federal agents. When you have judges and mayors and governors standing in your way, who in all honesty should be arrested and charged with sedition, some cases treason. But I'm understanding that this is 3D chess, not checkers. To quote the scammer, the prince of panhandling. The White House, the DHS, and the DOD did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Beast. The younger Hegseth was a podcast producer and social media poster for a conservative think tank before his brother's rise from the Fox and Friends weekend couch to being in charge of the world's most powerful military. God damn it. Yep, it's his brother. His brother's the leak. He gotta go. You got to Pete. You gotta fire your brother. You gotta fire your brother before he mess around there and faces serious criminal charges, man. You got to fire your brother. Oh, he is not technically a Pentagon employee, but one of the Department of Homeland Security, which means anti-nepotism rules are not directly engaged. But he has an office close to his older brother, a 3 times married father and stepfather of 7. Anyway, I don't get off. I'll read it anyway. A 3 times married father and stepfather of 7 who promised at his confirmation hearing that he would no longer drink amid accusations of extreme alcohol use and sexual assault, which he denied, and has been dubbed the emotional support brother for an embattled Trump cabinet member. Whatever. Everybody's got to have that goofy slant, but yeah, you got to fire your brother. You got to get your brother away from you. You got to get your brother away from you. Your brother is messing all your stuff up. Your brother is messing your stuff up, man. Your brother gonna mess around there and have both of y'all out in the streets with boxes. You got to get rid of your brother, man. You got to get rid of your brother. But here's my theory. Now that we've got that out the way, once you start removing the criminal illegals off the streets with the National Guard, all right, once you start doing that, once you start making those sweeps, because they're saying that they're not just going to hit one city and then move to the next and move to the next. No, 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 no. They're going to continually sweep the area, because you saw what happened out there in Aurora, Colorado. That was one of the first places they hit. Of course, somebody let the an FBI agent let the Tren de Aragua members know that they were coming, so they scattered like roaches. So of course, when ICE came, they really didn't catch anybody, but now they're back terrorizing the people who decided to continue living in that rat infested crap hole. They're back terrorizing these people, the same people that they were looking for, the same Tren de Aragua members. So what they're going to do is continue to sweep that area. In any other area, they're going to hunt you down. Like that sheriff in Florida said, you're going to go to jail tired. We're going to chase you down. So you're going to be looking at that. You want to be a violent protester? More than likely, those federal agents, those National Guard members will probably have permission to crack your skull. You want to play, bum rushing, getting all up in their face with a camera and all that stuff, you get snatched right up. You're interfering 3 feet. 3 feet. You come within 10 feet. You come within 10 feet of one of us, you getting snatched up. Soon, if we can reach out and touch you, you're going to jail. Simple as that. And we want you to resist. We will make examples out of you. I think that might be the plan. But once you get enough of the criminal illegals and the terrorist cells out of the country, because keep in mind, we're only 7 months into this presidency. We're only 7 months in. That's when you can start making arrests of Democratic leaders, because now they don't have a standing army to call upon. And also the beauty of social media, and I don't know what this new class of people under the age of 35, what they call them, the under 20, under 30, I don't know what they call them, but these people are so stupid. They're literally sitting up here in their military uniforms talking about sedition and treason and all of this stuff. And it's like, keep going. You say it feels like 7 years, right? I mean, man, Trump is getting a lot done before he finally take the eternal celestial dirt nap. I'll tell you that much. But he's getting a lot done. He's getting it done fast. But yeah, it's these people are outing themselves and drumming themselves out of the military. So you don't have to worry about really that type of resistance in the military anyway. Plus, you're looking at one lone soldier might be able to take out 3, 4, 5 of his bunk mates before he gets riddled with holes if he tries something stupid like that. And then you'll weed yourself out. You can be a school shooter in the military all you want to. Sorry, you're not, bruh. Then you're not going to be walked out. You're not going to get a perp walk. You're going to get a flag on a casket. That's what you're going to get. Are you kidding me? Military does not play well with dissenters. At least not the military I know. But we'll see how that rolls. I mean, that's just my prediction. But it'll probably be maybe about a year or two, if not, because I was saying this before, that maybe you'll probably see handcuffs start slapping on people before the midterms. But it looks like that it won't even happen before then. It looks like it might happen maybe after the midterms, because if you've been keeping up with what's going on, they redrew the map, the district map in Texas. Jasmine Crockett she doesn't even have a seat. If the map holds, she doesn't have a seat. She's out. That little ghetto trash is gone, done, finito, and she flipping out. She flipping out. The way they're redrawing those maps, because they want to redraw the map amongst racial lines. Like, I hate to tell you this, but at 13% of the population, Democrats lose. Especially out in California, because Latinos are marked as white. They have white on the ones that are legal, they have white on their driver's licenses. For those of us who kind of forgot, Indians too, from India, they're listed as white. Arabs from the Middle East on their licenses listed as white. They're not listed as brown. It's either black, white, or even Asians are listed as white. So if you call yourself trying to redraw a district map amongst racial lines, you know how many seats you lose? Like, you're stupid. And you can't really redraw the map in California. It's at its max. Same thing with Illinois. They ran the Illinois last night, today, trying to help redraw the maps up there to gain seats. Like, it's redrawn to death. Maybe you forget that, Illinois is a very racist state. They've already redrawn the maps. The only way you can do it is illegally. So you can forget that, and then trying to make it amongst racial lines, you can forget that too, because it's 2025. They're not playing the race hustle game anymore. That's obsolete. Nobody cares. They sick of it. You sound like a broken record. So the trick bag is right there coming in the primaries. That's the trick bag. And the Democrats are losing, and losing badly. By the time 2026 comes, with everything that's going on in California, and California is getting ready to fall off the face of the map, but with everything that's going on out there, where people are like a mass exodus of California. Are you kidding me? Especially with what's about to go down with ICE in the military. If that jumps off before like Christmas or whatever, or June this time next year, you can forget it. Your head count is going to drop dramatically. You're going to lose seats. Because it's based on population. You're going to lose seats. Population per district. You're going to lose seats like crazy. People were saying when ICE started doing their raids in California, the California freeways were like, I'm from Ohio. I spent 19 years in Columbus, Ohio. There was no such thing as a traffic jam in Columbus, Ohio, especially during rush hour. I think like the slowest you were going was like 45 miles per hour. That was only for like a hot minute, maybe 5-10 minutes. Like they were like, there was no traffic jams in LA when ICE was out there, doing their operations. I think even now the traffic jams have severely decreased. Speaking of California, something I wanted to look at. Let me see. Because, it's not a conspiracy theory. Let's see here. 2028. Whoops. It's 20. Oh, hold on. Not 2029. 2028 Olympic housing LA. So this is what I was looking at. Remember how they let the Palisades burn down? Like, I don't care about the winds. Like when we were watching those videos of those people's houses burned down, there was no wind. There was no wind in those suburbs. They just didn't have any water. Like it wasn't like wind where we can't. No, there was no water. People were like standing there, like watching their houses burn, and their shirts weren't breezing. They wasn't going like this because of the wind. They were just watching their houses burn down because there was no water. Especially in an area like LA where like it's like living in Florida. Hurricanes are going to come every year. It's hurricane season. Where in California, you have LA wildfires every year. So, it was a tinderbox. It was a tinderbox. That's why Trump was like, yo, you need to clean this up. Because if there's less tinder to burn, it's easier to help fight the fire. But that's not what happened. They let those houses burn down. Trump went there, told them, yo, give these people their permits now. Like, well, we need Karen Bass. We need to do this. No, you don't need to do nothing. And then Gavin Newsom was sitting up there dancing about, he could talking about the Olympics, and I can't wait. And now they're sitting up here. Here we are almost a year later. Well, not a year later, but here we are 7 months later, and like only one house has been built. The people can't get their permits, and now they're talking about eminent domaining the land to build low-income housing. But yet you got the Olympics coming in 2028. It's not a conspiracy as far as what they call themselves doing. Now, peep this. Okay. It says the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Let me see. Okay. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics will utilize existing facilities and infrastructure, including UCLA's dorms, rather than building a new Olympic village. This no-build approach is designed to avoid the financial pitfalls of past Olympics. Athletes will be housed in UCLA dormitories, and any temporary structures built for events will be removed after the games. That's BS. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to do exactly what they did here in Atlanta when the Olympics came here in 94, 96, 96. Anyway, whenever it was here, when we had the bomb, remember the bomb went off down here? At any rate, what they did was they tore down the projects over there by Georgia Tech. They tore down the projects, and then they built up Olympic Village. These beautiful dorms, brand spanking new. They housed those people there, the Olympians. They housed them there, and then when the Olympics were over, they turned it into student housing. What Gavin Newsom calls himself doing with that land on the Palisades is to eminent domain it and turn it into low-income housing. So if you eminent domain and steal the land from the people because, you couldn't get your permit, so we're going to take the land, because they stalled them out. California is very corrupt. I don't understand why Gavin Newsom is not in jail for embezzlement. You've got that rail system, just the rail system alone. Just the rail system alone. Any rate, they've been stealing money out of California like crazy. You build that low-income housing dirt cheap. You build it up, throw the Olympians in there in the Palisades, which has the reputation of pristineness and and richness and everything. You put them there, you house them there, the athletes, and then when the Olympics is over, you turn it over to poor people, totally screwing over the former people that used to live there, who, in all honesty, if I was them, I'd right now at this very moment, that come Tuesday morning, some high-powered lawyers would be down at City Hall filing a class action lawsuit. Like, either you give us our permits, or you paying us out close to $1 trillion. Like, you're going to buy our land from us, and you're going to buy our homes from us at the appraisal rate that it was at before it burned down, not to mention all of the memorabilia that we lost and our insurance premiums. We want all our money. You gonna cash me out, bro. You gonna cash me out, because a lot of those people have left California. They were doing a thing where Gavin Newsom lied and said, "Oh, California is getting all of this new growth." No, they did a study on U-Haul. California is at the very of the 50 states, not counting in all honesty, not counting Alaska, and I think Hawaii, the islands. But California was dead last as far as U-Haul returns. You have more U-Hauls going out of California with very few coming back or coming in, period. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like, hey, we need some trucks. Yeah, we need some trucks. Can you got some drivers to bring some trucks down? Yeah, we need a lot of house movers. We need house mover trucks. Shoot, yeah. So people are exiting California like crazy. You've got the main offices of In-N-Out Burger. They're bouncing up out of there, and it won't be long before they shut down all of their burger joints there. Like, you've got a lot of businesses fleeing the state. All right, peace out, Audrey. You have a lot of businesses fleeing the state of California. They're getting the hell up out of there. And in all honesty, it's really by design. I mean, you just look at California as a whole. San Diego is a crap hole. Oakland is I mean, how the hell can you get lower than the pits of hell? They have no tax base. They have no sports teams. All their sports teams have left. All right, their baseball team is the only one left, and they don't even play in Oakland. They're trying to get a stadium built out in Vegas. That's the new area because there's no tax. You own a sports team in Vegas, you about to clean up. There's no tax. But San Francisco is turned into a hellhole. It was turning into a hellhole last 2 years because of BlackRock. All of the drug addicts and the homeless. LA is next. LA is next. People are fleeing in droves. Just like in Minnesota, New York, Chicago, where else? Memphis, Boston, and a few other places in these blue cities. The Democrats' whole plan. I'm freeballing now because I've already covered what I want to cover. But understand, the Democrats' plan is to usher in communism through democratic socialism, and they tried to speed up the plan real fast. Not to go too far back, but it really started when, like I said, during the Obama era, where the Me Too movement, where you started demonizing manhood. And then, of course, you had like gay rights took off. And then all of a sudden the trans movement took off to the point where, like in California and Denver, they can take your children away if you and other parts of the country, like West Virginia. No, not West Virginia, but West Virginia, where if you call your child by their birth name, but yet they claim to be going by another name, you're dead naming them, they can take your kids away because they consider it child abuse. I mean, and then you let the illegals in. Because in all honesty, you needed a standing army and you needed a new slave class, because they know that the American worker is not going to work for $7 an hour for a job that's supposed to pay you at the very minimum 15. if not 20, between $15 and $20 an hour. You're not going to work for $7.50. You understand? You have workers' rights, you have insurance, and all of that. So you needed a new slave class, a new permanent source of cheap labor. I don't know anybody and understand us as black people, we're at the very bottom of the economic totem pole of the United States. I don't know any of us that's working for $7.25 an hour. You can't get even the most poorest black. They're not going to do anything for less than 15, and even that's too low. Ew. I remember the last job I worked, I didn't even have to work it. I was calling myself getting out of the house, but every time they kept trying to give me BS, I'm like, dude, like, why is y'all stressing me out over $15 an hour? Like, this ain't even a livable wage, and y'all tripping. I would say that to my manager's face. You stressing me out over $15 an hour. Like that's $2,000 after taxes. Rent is $2,000. Like, are you stressing me out? They just look at me. Yeah, the hell with y'all. Y'all were bums. Anyway. Yeah, so yeah, ain't nobody working for less than $15 an hour. That's like the very bare minimum. Unless you're a teenager working at McDonald's. You know, $10 an hour is pretty good. You can pay your phone bill to get you some shoes and buy you some clothes. Especially if you're a girl, as cheap as girl clothes cost, especially when they're under 18 or whatever, or under 21, because they're not trying to go out buy red bottoms and everything. Shoot, they still shopping at Forever 21 and, you know, Rave and all them other little girl stores. Hey, please, hey, get them a whole outfit for like what, less than $50. The shoes will be the most expensive thing they buy at like $18 at any rate. Yeah, but no adult is working for less than that. So they were bringing them in to be the new permanent source of cheap labor, the new wage slave class, especially undocumented, because there's nobody that they can run to if the boss decides that he's not going to pay them that week or that day or however they get paid, or they get injured on the job. There's no insurance claim to file for them to file. You're illegal. We can do whatever we want to do with you. You want to stay here? Well, here, pick up a gun and shoot at those ICE agents and soldiers and whatnot. Fight for your right to stay here, because that's the talk that's coming out of the Democratic Party. Their leadership. Yeah, they're trying to usher in communism through socialism, which is just a soft way of saying communism. Whether it's through Mamdani, the guy in Minnesota, Brandon Johnson, all right, Pritzker, Michelle Wu, Mayor Johnson out in Denver, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, whoever, the people up in Portland, in Oregon, and people up in Washington, their leadership, wherever they're blue cities. You defund the police. How you do that? You drop the crime statistics. I mean, we talked about this last year on the Embrace Villainy channel. If you make crime legal where anything under $1,000 is not even worth calling the police over, because they're not going to do anything, where you get it to the point where an 11-year-old has stolen 13 cars in 2 weeks, and in those 13 car thefts, after he's crashed them into other people's cars, the worst thing you can do to him is drop him off back at home with his mama and watch him in the rear view as they wave out of you, and he run off to go steal another Kia, because you remember the Kia boys, they had the defect where you can have teenagers steal a car, do 60 miles per hour down a residential street, slam into an SUV where a 5-month-old fractures its skull and dies a painful, agonizing death in 12 hours, and the biggest charge you slap them with is trespass of a motor vehicle. You're inviting anarchy and chaos. Why do you think you're getting all of these store lootings that were going on last year? Well, they have insurance. No, insurance doesn't cover that. Then their premiums go up. Why do you think you have all of these grocery stores closing? Was it the Shop and Save up there in Milwaukee, which is an offshoot from Kroger's? You got those places closing. What? You had the stores out, the grocery stores out in California that were closing. Got the black alderman threatening. I don't know what he was threatening to do. If the store closed, are you threatening violence against a store that's closing because of the theft and violence that's going on in the store? Is that what you're doing? Oh, that's your solution? You're going to threaten us with violence? Same thing going on with the shopping saves up in Milwaukee, up in Wisconsin. Too much crime in and outside of the stores. Out there robbing old ladies, beating them to a pulp, breaking ribs and everything to steal their groceries. But you want to fight to keep the store open, talk about some food security. What the hell is that? You want food security? Go dig you a garden. Make you a garden in your backyard. Go dig up your yard, make a garden. You want food security? Grow your own food. Slaughter your own cows and chickens. There's your food security right there. Yeah, but a grocery store, you don't have a right to have a grocery store. The Kroger around the corner from where I live is shutting down September 13th. Gone. Matter of fact, it's 4 Krogers in my general area. Within a 5-mile radius, they're all shutting down. But it's fine because, the Kroger where I'm at, across the street from that is an Aldi's, and across the street from the Krogers and the Aldi's is a Walmart. So it's like, the Kroger will be missed because there are certain things, Kroger's with the sales and everything, but, I can walk to the Walmart just like I could have walked to the Kroger's and the Aldi's, but, it is what it is because of theft. Because of theft. Grocery stores operate on a very small profit margin. Ask Lewis, he'll tell you. Very small profit margin. And, insurance doesn't cover everything. And plus you have shrinkage, which is theft. And then you have produce and dairy products and everything, perishables that you have to toss out. You all see it when you go to Kroger's or your grocery store and you see the meat with the red sticker on sale. 2 for 1. Yeah, you got to hurry up and get rid of that stuff. It's getting ready to perish. Matter of fact, the shelves over at the Kroger that I go to, you can already see gaps in them. It look like a socialist grocery store. But that's what they want. They want a government-run grocery store. But the problem with government-run grocery stores is that they don't keep products on the shelves because they run out. They run on the bare essentials. And then you're out. You're literally living in a food desert in an American city with a grocery store sitting right there that's government run. That's communism. You usher that in through crime and abject, severe poverty where the government has no choice but to take over and step in. That's how you get communism. And people die from starvation and from criminality. That was the plan. That was the overall plan. That's the Democrats' overall plan. What do you think Alex Soros, what do you think his whole plot was? What do you think BlackRock, what do you think their whole plan was? It's all about control. All right. Let's get out of here. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Demon King Satan! Satan!
Nope, not
Satan!
at all.
Satan! 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 Satan!
I actually felt retarded, like really retarded. I needed to brush my teeth retarded. I rode the bus retarded.
Dang.
In a weird way, I had to sort of just free myself up to believe that it was okay to be stupid or dumb.
To be a moron.
Yeah,
To be moronical.
exactly. To be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Not the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. No.
You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't- please,
you're running
Mr.
low
Brad.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
Brad.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you.
And then I'm like, this baby motherfucker better not blow up by nuclear shit, or I'm gonna go loco on this bitch. And then he blows up all my nuclear shit, and I'm like, call my general. And they tell me, they're all dead, sir. And I'm like, assemble the army. And they're like, they're dead too, sir. So then I'm like, launch the friggin' missiles. And they're like, sir, they're gone, sir. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn, I know I shouldn't have called on this nigga. I shouldn't have called on you because you always trying to distract mother. Fine, I'll answer your stupid ass question.
We have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Get the fuck out!
Right. Hi. Thanks for the fun.